Ayo, I haven't really done a review video in a while, but recently I got the CD140SCE acoustic guitar by Fender, and I just wanted to share my opinions and thoughts with you guys. So, without further ado, I'm gonna run through some specs, and then I'll have a little sound test demo kind of thing, just to show you how it sounds. So, here is the Fender 140SCE, which has too many characters in its name for me to memorize, but it comes in this style and an all mahogany variant. It's an acoustic electric guitar, so you can plug it in and send it through a speaker or an audio interface similar to an electric guitar. A really handy feature with this guitar is when you buy it, you also get this really nice sturdy guitar case. It has some really nice features. I'll do some footage of it. This might be the case for all guitar cases, no pun intended, but it has some really handy compartments and it comes with a key so you can lock your case. That might be for all guitar cases, but that's just something to note. So you've got a spruce top with a gloss finish and a tortoise pickguard, which is really nice. The whole aesthetic of this guitar is just really crazy. It's like the binding and everything, it looks really nice. You've got a mahogany neck with a rosewood fingerboard and a 12-inch radius on the fretboard, which I'm not really sure how that affects things. I'm not really a fingerboard radius expert on that kind of stuff, but it plays well from what I can tell. So a little feature that Fender has advertised a bit with this guitar is it's easy to play rolled edges on the frets. I think a lot of guitarists know the pain of getting a guitar and playing it, but having really sharp edges on the frets where the producer just hasn't really smoothed out the frets properly. And when you're doing fast chord changes up and down the neck, it's a bit of a pain. So having the rolled frets is just really nice to have there. So Fender has this little material called new bone on the nut, and that helps with creating less friction on the strings. The more friction you have anywhere on the guitar, the more out of tune the guitar becomes for when you play it. So the more frequently it'll become out of tune. So I haven't really played too long with this guitar, but I can tell that it stays in tune fairly well. Now getting to the pickups / preamp. The pickups and preamps are made by Fishman, and Fishman is a relatively well-known brand for making pretty good pickups. You've got an inbuilt tuner, which is fairly common to see in most acoustic electric guitars. Some budget acoustic electric guitars might not have inbuilt tuners, but it works pretty well from what I can tell. Then you've got your bass knob, your volume knob, and your treble knob to kind of shape the tone how you want it. You've got your battery light indicator, which is actually really handy. I've never seen this on another acoustic electric guitar. Comment down below if you've seen this on another guitar. But basically, acoustic electric guitars need a 9-volt battery to really power the preamp so you can shape the EQ and everything. Obviously, you can play it acoustically, but if you want to plug it in, you're going to need a 9-volt battery. This battery indicator tells you when your battery is low. This is actually really handy because when you're on stage, you don't want the guitar signal to be cut off by a dead battery. So this is really handy because it tells you when you need to change the battery, because then you don't need to worry about your guitar suddenly cutting off in the middle of a performance. I think the last thing I should mention about this guitar is it advertises the Fender Play with this little sticker, which is a little online guitar, bass, ukulele course thing. And I haven't really checked it out, but I'll go ahead and do that sometime. And I've heard pretty good things about it. So if you're just starting out on an instrument like guitar or bass, you can go check it out. Fender has advertised about it, and I've heard pretty good things about it. So yeah, I think that's all. I'll show any specs that I haven't mentioned already up here. But without further ado, let's get into some sounds. So the way I'm going to do the sound demonstration, first I will just record the guitar with a lead plugged in, so you'll be able to hear how the preamp sounds and the pickup sound. And then I'll record the guitar with a microphone, so really kind of hearing how it plays acoustically. And then I'll play them both at the same time so you can get a blend between the two and just see how the tones mix. So some extra stuff for the sound test, I will link the gear that I'm using down below in the description. For my audio interface, I'm using the Audience Evo 4, And for my microphone, I'm using this microphone, the SM58 by Shure, and I'm just sending that all to my laptop. For the guitar controls, I've got the volume at 1 o'clock and the treble and bass both at halfway. So without further ado, let's jump into the little sound test. My final thoughts for this guitar, I think it plays really well. The rounded frets are really nice to have, and the single cutaway allows you to access the higher frets much more easily. But the aesthetic of this guitar is really nice. The pickguard, the binding, everything of it is just really nice. It was really cool of Fender to include the hard case with this guitar, because otherwise you don't want to risk buying just a cheap guitar bag that's going to do nothing for your guitar in terms of protection or durability. So it's really nice to have that sturdy guitar case. I forgot to mention, but you can probably already tell, this guitar is a dreadnought body. So for those who don't really know what a dreadnought guitar is, it's basically this shape. It's very big and loud and allows for much more amplification. And I usually like the more classic styles, but when I tried this guitar at the guitar shop, it just fit for me, ergonomically speaking, I guess. And it just fit, the side wasn't digging into my chest or anything, and it worked when I was sitting down and standing up. Obviously, guitars are different for different people, so you want to try before you buy, I guess that's the saying. This guitar is actually priced around $600 in Australian dollars, so it's a bit of a mid-range guitar for intermediate players, but even though it's affordable, it plays really well, and it doesn't lack in cheap build or cheap materials or cheap sound or anything. It doesn't lack on any of those stuff. And so yeah, that's all I have to say for this video. I hope I've been able to persuade your opinion to either buy this guitar or maybe think, maybe this isn't the guitar for me. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.